Welcome to Gorton Monastery. It's an amazing place, isn't it? These are the first 13 friars who arrived in 1861, and amazingly, in less than 11 years, they had built the monastery themselves. They were not employing builders, they were doing all the work. Not just creating this magnificent building, but they managed to play with the light coming into the building. We used to have statues of Franciscan saints that stood high up on the walls above you, above the angels. There were 6 on one wall and 6 on the other wall. They were taken down by the developers and sold off, and it's really important that we find them and put them back, because they aren't just statues, they're a unique design feature of the building. The architect unusually aligned the building north-south, traditionally east-west, but here it's north-south, which meant the architect could play with the light coming into the building. The first light of the day is in the east. As the sun rises, the light shines through the clerestory windows, and the light from the clerestory windows falls on the ceiling opposite. As the sun is rising during the day, the lights are moving across that wall, and when the sun's about 21 degrees in the sky, the light from the clerestory windows illuminates the position of every single saint at the same time and strikes the exact midpoint of the arches in between. In the afternoon, when the sun's going down, the whole thing repeats on this wall, and the position of every single statue is lit perfectly with the exact midpoint of the arches in between. And that happens every day in Gorton, twice a day, because the sun shines every day in Gorton. There's a similar story about the crucifix high above me, taken down by the developer and sold off. And about 8 years ago, we got word that the church in Miami was buying it from an art dealer in London at a cost of £70,000. We managed to join the negotiations and eventually secured it for £20,000 and put it back in its rightful position. And that's exactly where it should be. We had all the bits and pieces necessary to hang the cross where it should be. And the importance of that didn't become apparent till midsummer 2007. And that was the year we opened. I was in here that day on midsummer, looking down the nave, and I saw the light from the 2 windows behind you shining on the nave floor in 2 parallel lines of light. Well, it would be, because we're looking south. But then 3 months later, I was in the church again, and I saw the same 2 lights now halfway down the nave. And I thought back to midsummer. Well, at midsummer, the sun was very high in the sky, just shining into the church. Late September, the sun is lower in the sky and reaching much further into the church. But in 3 months, the lights had travelled half the length of the church. So I was curious to see how far those lights would go. And by November, the 2 lights are getting across the chancel behind me and starting to illuminate the reredos either side. As we move into December, the lights are rising really high on the reredos now, and it made us wonder about Christmas Day. But of course, we had plans for Christmas Day, so we came in on Christmas Eve instead. And we watched and waited, and there were those same 2 lights now stood perfectly still on the chancel floor, with the altar and the crucifix slightly darker in between. It was Christmas Eve, so we brought some food to share. We went away to the cafe, made a shared meal, came back. About 3/4 of an hour later, the sun had continued its journey that way, but was also starting to move down, and we came back to witness that astonishing sight of a single column of light appearing to come out from the base of the altar and going up to illuminate Christ on the cross high above.